All right, welcome back to Teddy in the Morning. My name is Teddy Mangi. Now, so many things have been happening in the country, as I said earlier, and we're going to have a brief look at some of these stories, as well as just keeping you in the loop, get to know what's happening around you. And to start us off, I'm pretty sure saizi mse yote akikupigia simu anakuuliza the first thing, kwenyu kunanyesha? Yeah, that's the first question that most Kenyans are asking, is that kwenyu kumenyesha, kwetu kumenyesha. And now in certain parts of the country the rains have been a menace. 18 Kenyans have so far lost their lives due to floods. 63 people are said to have been disappeared, and then more than 60,000 actually have been displaced across different parts of the country. And the government is now asking Kenyans to vacate from where they stay. I'll repeat again that 18 Kenyans have died from the recent floods in the country. 63 people have been confirmed to have disappeared ever since the rains began. We have more than 60,000 other Kenyans who've been displaced in different parts of the country from their homes. And then we also have the Kenyan government now asking Kenyans to move from where they stay. Some of these Kenyans are the residents of Tana River who live around the Seven Forks Dam. Now, these people have been asked to move from the Seven Forks Dam because apparently when the dam is full, it tends to overflow, and oftentimes when it overflows, this water makes its way through people's homes as it tries to find its way into the Tana River. Now, across different parts of the country, there have been cases of death. In eastern Kenya, there have been nine cases of deaths that have been confirmed. In central Kenya, 2 cases. In Rift Valley, 2. In the Coast Province, 2, and then in Nairobi County, 2 people have also died from the floods. Now, the rains have also led to the destruction of infrastructure such as schools, roads, and hospitals. And many Kenyans are asking the government for help. But at the same time, when the government tends to respond to Kenyans when asking for help, the government is asking them to move from where they're staying. But Kenyans are asking the government, where do we go to? Before we proceed, just have a listen to this news report and let's get back to it.
Serikali inasema watu 18 wamefariki katika siku za hivi karibuni kutokana na mafuriko pamoja na maporomoko ya ardhi yanayoshuhudiwa.
Maji yameanza kutungia saa 9 ya usiku mpaka kuja kupambauka, tukingojea ifika asubuhi imebeba kila kitu. Kuku hata zimekufa. Sisi yenyewe mzigo wengine imeenda.
Wakazi wanaoishi katika maeneo ya chini kando ya mto Tana, ikiwemo katika kaunti jirani ya Garissa pamoja na maeneo mengine ya ukanda wa chini, wanatakiwa kuhama.
Ukitoka nitakana ujue wewe mwenyewe ukitoka unaenda wapi, utaenda kujenga nyumba yako wapi, at least ukae for the time being kwa sababu ya hii maji. Lakini sasa tunashindwa kujua tukitoka tutaenda tuogeshe wapi. Ndio sababu unaona watu wengine wako kwa maji.
Hii serikali juu sisi tumeichagua na inatumia rasilimali yetu, at least waangalie mambo yetu kidogo. Ninaomba William Samoei Ruto, hata kama wako tu kwa siasa na nini, kwanza waangalie mwananchi wa kawaida.
Idara ya hali ya anga inasema mvua ya masika itapungua katikati ya mwezi Mei.
Right, so as you can hear, so many Kenyans have really lost their lives. Property has been destructed and people have been displaced. But many Kenyans are still asking the government that, you want us to move, but where do we go to? Because previously, when it rained, Kenyans used to go and seek refuge in primary schools or secondary schools, and also at the same time others will go to seek refuge in police stations, in hospitals and all that. But now because the schools are open, the school vicinity is not accessible, the roads are really bad, so these people are really even struggling to move with their belongings from point A to point B. So it's a total mess. However, the meteorological department in Kenya estimates that this rainfall could end in the middle of the month of May 2026. So this month that we are in, they're estimating that perhaps we could see the rains subsiding. Nairobi County has been affected by the rains so much. Nairobi has been affected. In fact, people say that if you want to know how much of a mess your neighborhood is, if you live in Nairobi, just wait until the time when it rains. And this other story is now becoming very, very interesting. So Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja is threatening to punish the county officers who gave permits for high-rise buildings along riverbanks and riparian land. And this comes after the Nairobi floods killed over 20 people a few months ago in Nairobi and destroyed houses and several businesses. But many questions, or rather, even before we get to this question, let's just have a listen to this report.
People thought it's only downside of Nairobi. Even Kericho was there. We've marked up to Lavington. And beyond that, I must say, because where there is a case that can be shown, the development approval was submitted wrongfully, the planners and those involved must be held to account.
Gavana Sakaja anasema haangalii majengo tu bali anaangalia karatasi na watu waliotia saini.
Because somebody is going to lose property on account of a document you gave them, knowing full well that you're giving them permission to build on the wrong place. So that it is done, whether it is something that was done 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or yesterday. Because these are professionals. There's an institute of planners.
Wakaazi wa maeneo haya sasa wanajitayarisha kuondoka.
So tulipewa 14 days tuame. But kulingana na uchunguzi yao, I think it is the government, kulingana na uchunguzi yao wanasema tunakaa kwa riparian land. Haifai mtu kukaa. So sisi kama tenants wale wanakaa hapa hatukujua. So vile hiyo uchunguzi ilikuja kufanywa ndio tukajua. So right now vile tulikuwa served na notice, we are planning to leave. We have no otherwise.
Right, so the situation in Nairobi is becoming very dire. Kenyans are being forced to move from their homes, especially those people who built or bought houses or even renting houses from high-rise apartments to standalone houses that sit on riparian land. The county government seems to be quite serious about this whole thing, and they're now proceeding forward with evicting people from this for these buildings, and then bringing these buildings down. The governor is saying that he's going to fire these officers. Unfortunately, some Kenyans are very skeptical about these sayings by the governors because Nairobi politics is in fact very difficult. And very deeply entrenched. The impunity in Nairobi is deeply entrenched. If Johnson Sakaja, the governor, is going to be successful in pulling this off, then I think Nairobi will be will be taking the right direction. Coming